Imagine that is November 28, 2026 and tomorrow at 8:30 you are going to give your first slot at CAT 2026 and there is still a doubt.
Like sitting in the studio and generally like giving gyan is one thing, but in the examination center the pressure is so different, right? And ignore Reddit, okay? Because I just feel that okay, people who are on Reddit are just like pained, okay, they waste time and they will demotivate you.
So in 24 you directly said that 24 is going to be easy than 23.
Yeah.
In 25 also you said that like it would be slightly difficult than 24. I clearly remember this. What about 26?
I expect 2026.
Hello everyone. Imagine that is November 28, 2026 and tomorrow at 8:30 you are going to give your first slot at CAT 2026 and there is still a doubt. You are thinking that you should have prepared much more. You should have done things differently. If you don't want to be in that situation, please stick with me till the end. We are going to clear your entire doubts from A to Z. Hi, sir.
Hi.
So, yes, sir, so many people have this problem of like where to start and what to start. What is the game plan for the next 5 months and all. So, what I'm thinking is I am giving you 3 students hypothetical situations. What we want from you is these 3 students will have different situations and different circumstances also. What I want from you is a game plan for these 3 types of students for the next 5 months. First one is Ramesh,
Okay.
who is a job going aspirant,
Okay.
and he barely gets 3 to 4 hours for study. And the second one, Suresh, he's a student at some of the college and he gets 5 to 6 hours of study. And the last one is Suresh again, and he will get the entire day for himself. Basically, he is a gap aspirant. So what I want from you is the game plan for 3 of the different students for the next 5 months.
Okay. One thing I would suggest is for everyone, okay, unless they are super busy or extremely busy, they should be able to get more time out of their day. Okay. When you have 24 hours, the only thing that is super important is sleep, which is for say 7 or 8 hours. Otherwise, you have 16 hours. From 16 hours, if you are preparing for CAT and there is hardly like say 5 months left, you should be able to extract as much from the day as you can. And I think that is very, very important. That basically differentiates the people who really want it as compared to people who would be happy if they get it. That is the first thing. And you can think of multiple ways in which you can actually get more time. Like I mentioned many times, any serious aspirant, I would recommend them to give away your smartphone, buy a normal phone. That itself will add at least 1 to 2 hours more to your day. And your concentration levels also increase, your stress levels decrease, your anxiety level decreases. All of these I think are definitely on some level related to your smartphone, which I think will be a good thing for you to give up for the next 4-5 months. Secondly, if you are a job going aspirant who is getting say 3 or 4 hours, I would say if you have flexibility, try to ensure that you study in the morning. Morning, your brain is fresh. You will be, whatever time you spend will be more productive as compared to evening when your energy levels are slightly on the lower side because you're going to office, you're probably commuted to work, all of these things. The second thing is with respect to a student who has more time, I would say focus on your exams also. Your exams are also very important. Don't give up your last year's grades just for CAT. But again, I would say it depends on where you are and how much time you are basically getting. But more than the time that you're getting, I would say a different way to look at the same question is figuring out where they are in their CAT journey. If the aspirant who has work experience has already taken CAT before, if he is comfortable with the syllabus, if he is comfortable with the kind of questions that will be asked, I would recommend, and if say he is somebody who has scored around or more than 85 percentile last year, I would say he has to focus more and more on solving more and more questions, okay? And also trying to ensure that identify his weaknesses and try to attack them, okay? That should be the goal of somebody who is working, especially if they have already taken CAT before. If you're a fresher and if this is the first time you're taking CAT, whether you're a student or a gap aspirant, I would say a good way to start is by solving some of the previous year's papers and also get a good understanding of the concepts. For them, I would say rushing directly into solving questions might not be ideal. But again, remember that solving questions is very, very important. But you have to balance both of them.
So you, as you always stress, you have to solve as many problems as possible. Like in our meetings also, you would always tell every aspirant that do as many problems as possible. So we ourselves provide a lot of concept videos on YouTube itself, like for free. We can do concepts anywhere. Like when I used to prepare for CAT also, I had this question that I can do concepts from YouTube, but where do I solve questions from? Is there any resources that you should definitely recommend as such?
I'll first tell you the free resources that Cracku offers, and then I'll tell you the paid resource. The free resources, if you're somebody who either is not coming from a middle class family, or if you are like already purchased somebody else, you don't have anything. First, I would say take the daily targets. Daily targets are free if you take it on the same day. The second very good resource are the previous year's papers. Previous year's papers are completely free on Cracku. It is a very good resource for you to get, like, by definition, CAT level questions. Download the PDFs of the previous year's papers, keep them in your laptop, and solve as many questions as you can on a daily basis. These two, I would say, are very good resources. They're completely for free. If you have enrolled to Cracku, the CAT study room is a paid resource, but it is very, very popular among students. And the number of people who take these study rooms also is quite a lot. And people benefit quite a lot from the study room, especially in the LRDI section. Because LRDI, there is no fixed part to improve. You have to solve multiple different type of diverse sets. And study room is a collection of excellent LRDI sets. And study room also has quant and verbal, but most people benefit mostly from the LRDI section.
So like talking from LRDA itself, like we released a video few days back about, we released a very promising blog also. So that states that half of the paper of LRDA, like I myself got shocked after looking at that video, like in all of the 25 3 slots, half of the paper is theta from LRDA, like 11 questions theta and 11 questions multi-choice questions. Like I myself found that a bit shocking. So like, is there any particular change that needs to be in preparation point of view for any aspirant?
One thing I would tell you is, this is something that I also think about. I implement it many times, but not always, okay? So you should not make the mistake is, you should, in LRDI, very few people solve all the sets, right? Most people by far, okay, they solve, maybe they attempt out of 5 sets, they attempt say 3 sets, okay? And even the third set, many people are not sure. They properly solve one set, the second and the third set, they are not sure, but they somehow attempt it. And there are 2 sets where they don't attempt anything, right? I feel that you have to ensure that in the last 5 minutes or so, even in the sets that you don't attempt anything, you have to mark something for the TET answers, okay? Because at the end of the day, CAT is not about how much you know, CAT is basically about how much you score. So even though people might complain that, okay, this is unfair and all, CAT at the end of the day is a test, and you have to maximize your marks in the test. That is it. You should not become philosophical about it. And one way in which you can maximize your marks is by making educated guesses in the theta questions. In general, I always get, on an average, at least one theta guess correct. And if you practice it, it is not very difficult, because you have to remember probability. Many of the theta questions and answers are single digit numbers. If, especially in LRDA, if somebody is asking you in which round is this happening, or in how many ways can the people be arranged, or how many arrangements are possible for this set, all of these in most of the cases will be a unique single digit number. So try to make some educated guesses, go through the set not too deeply for around 10-15 seconds. Based on what you think, okay, make an educated guess, and educated guesses, even the probability of them getting correct is say 20%. Like you're saying, if there are 11 questions, and if you attempt all the theta questions just making educated guesses, you will get 2 of them correct. Many people don't do it, which I find to be like not very smart.
I myself also didn't do it in my 25 attempt. So, sir, talking about another section, quant, we discussed about this in our previous video also, when we are doing it for 25 CAT. 5 questions is 90%. Like
Yep.
people prepare for 5 months, 6 months, and out of those 3 lakhs, 1,50,000 people will at least be engineers. And after all of this, why people struggle in quant? Like in one of the videos, as you mentioned, when I personally saw your attempts of dashcats, live attempts as dashcats, you never stuck in quant.
Yeah.
Like, what does that complement, and why to never get stuck at quant, and why is the reason for 90% at 5 questions?
I think people don't attempt it very strategically for multiple reasons, because like sitting in this studio and generally like giving gyan is one thing, but in the examination center, the pressure is so different, right? Like even when I told you about this theta questions, okay, sometimes I don't implement it, okay, because of the pressure. And for me, the stakes are much lower, right? For a aspirant who is taking the examination, the stakes are much higher. So people, and not just one, most students, nearly every one of them is going to underperform on the day of the examination, right? Many of the things that are very clear after the examination are not clear during the examination because of stress, and that is completely normal, okay? That I would say is one of the reasons where those kind of statistics look very surprising. But the second thing I would tell you is, irrespective of what might be the case, irrespective of the fact that you will be under stress and all, ensure that you never get stuck in a quant question. If there is a quant question and if you feel that it is taking too much time, you should be very, very ruthless. You should leave it and go to the next one. Like he's saying, in quant, the game is identifying the easy questions and getting them correct. If you can identify the easy questions and get them correct, you are going to score very well. But you will be able to identify questions only if you look at all the 22 questions. If you get stuck in some question and if you waste a lot of time on it, you will be missing out on some of the easy questions towards the end of the paper. So to do well in quant, one very important thing that you have to do is ensure that you are never stuck in a question. You either leave the question and go to the next one, or you solve it quickly.
So like coming back to the previous thing, I get this question a lot of times in the sessions also. Like, is there any particular targets that we want to achieve, like number of quant questions to be solved, number of LRDA sets, number of reading comprehensions, and number of mocks to be taken before we enter the exam? Is there any rough number that, okay, that can give us confidence before going into the exam?
It is all relative. I'll give you an example of one student. Okay, there was one student who was enrolled into Cracku around 3 years back. Okay, she didn't perform well in quant, but she performed well in verbal and LRDA the earlier year. Okay, and she did very well in quant the next year, and I interviewed her. And in the interview, she told me that see, after finishing it, she was a non-engineer, and she felt that okay, the only thing that is stopping me from getting into an IIM is doing well in quant. And I felt that okay, there is Cracku study room which I'm enrolled to. I'm going to finish all the questions in quant. And she finished all the questions. Okay, I found that super inspiring because I felt it is so logical. When people think logically and work hard, I find that very inspiring. For her, she figured out that she has to just improve in quant, and she felt that okay, I have the access to Cracku study room. It has very good questions. I'm going to solve all of them. And she solved all of them, and she did very well. So basically, at the end of the day, it is dependent on how much you want, right? Solve more and more. I don't want to put a particular number for the number of questions that have to be solved because every person starts at a different base. The number of mocks I would tell you roughly is, I would want you to take at least 20 mocks.
At least 20 mocks. Any number of LRDA sets, as I clearly remember when Kushal is saying, I solved 500 LRDA sets before going to the exam.
I think 500 is a good number.
500 is a pretty ridiculous number. So, sir, talking about one of our students, do you remember Manhar Joshi? Like, who you interviewed? Like, when I analyzed his scorecard and when I analyzed some of the topper scorecard, I found out that most of the people are scoring exceptionally well in VARC. Like, most of the 99.5 plusers and 0.6, like above these candidates are scoring exceptionally well in VARC. Like, for example, Manhar himself scored 60 odd marks in VARC. Like, as you always say also, if you want to get into top IIM in India, perform very well in VARC and quant, do decent in LRD.
Correct, yeah.
Like, talking about that VARC, what should be the strategy? I clearly remember you saying if you want to go into top IIM in India, you should attempt all the 24 questions in VARC. Like, why is that, and what should be the strategy while preparing for VARC from a 0 to a 99%?
With respect to VARC, one of the things that I notice is because most of the people who take CAT are engineers, they are not scared of quant. Some of the non-engineers might be scared of quant, but many of the engineers that I interact with, they're not scared of quant. But many of them, for me at least disappointingly, give up on verbal. They say, yeah, I'm weak at verbal. And they have, on some level, I feel, have accepted that okay, verbal, I can't improve, which I think is the wrong attitude. That should definitely not be your attitude. Like, I personally, I scored around 80 in my first attempt in VARC. And at that time, the sectional cutoffs were 95. Now, I was very good at quant and LRDA. I knew that. But verbal was super important. The sectional cutoff had to be 95% for me to get a shortlist. Then in those days, there was no option for me to just tell myself that, okay, I'm bad at verbal, right? So when there is no option, you work hard on it. And the next time I got 97. And after that, now I definitely get above 99 in verbal. So if I am able to improve, why can't other people improve? Because if it is like with all like humility, if somebody says, yeah, you are good at quant, I will never be able to get like say 9.8, 9.9, I would say that is fine. But in verbal, what advantage do I have? I have no advantage. My schooling is not like super good, right? And my verbal also used to be pretty poor. But I started reading a lot and my score improved. And you can see that happen, right? Even in our office, you can see Girish, right? Yeah. Girish, and for me again, like I say, when people work hard, I'm very inspired. Girish used to write the summary of the articles. After this video, I'll put another video about what exactly Girish did to improve his score from 60 percentile in verbal to 96 percentile. Excellent work, and when he was putting that effort also on a day-to-day basis, I knew that he was going to do very well, right? So the first thing I would recommend people to know is first believe that big improvement in verbal in 1 year is definitely possible. You should want it and you should put in that effort. Verbal is, in my opinion, the easiest way to improve your scores very quickly. Quant improvement will take time, to be really honest, okay? LRDI, like I always say, there is always like an element of luck, okay? But verbal is not luck, okay? Many people will say, yeah, it is subjective, this and that. I don't like that attitude. I know that, okay, some of the mocks might be subjective. I'll agree with that. Some of the mock questions, you might disagree with the answers. But that rarely happens in the actual examination. After the actual examination of 24 questions, people agree with each other about at least 22. 22 are not debated. Maybe 1 or 2 questions are debated. 1 or 2 questions people might say this should be the answer, that should be the answer. So one thing you have to realize is verbal also is a skill that you can improve. It is not just luck, okay? The second thing I would tell you is read as much as you can and a diverse variety of articles, not fiction, read non-fiction, okay? And best way is read editorials, okay? And do it on a regular basis. Every single day I want you to read 4 or 5 articles. And you have to be very concentrated when you're reading, okay? The strategy behind it, I would say, is if it is a topic that you're interested in, it is easy for you to be concentrated. For example, if you like sports or if you like cricket, and if there is an article on cricket, on IPL, you would have no problem in concentrating and finishing it off. But say you're not interested in certain topics, like say you're not interested in philosophy, and if there is an article on philosophy, then you are just like bored. After the first 1 or 2 paragraphs, you're not able to focus on it. But say you read, say 5 or 6 articles on philosophy, and say you read it on Indian philosophy, and in CAT, there is an article on, say, Greek philosophy. Still, if you have some exposure to it, your concentration levels will be better. That is why I would tell you to read a diverse variety of articles regularly, and you will definitely improve. You have to believe that you will improve, and I've seen that happen to multiple students.
So, adding on to this final few questions, sir. So, in 24, you directly said that, yeah, 24 is going to be easy than 23.
Yeah.
In 25 also, you said that like it would be slightly difficult than 24. I clearly remember this. What about 26? Any predictions this time when compared to 25 and 24?
Okay, interesting question. I'll tell you why I made those predictions. Okay, 23, first of all, was an extremely hard paper. It was extremely hard and it was not in line with whatever the pattern was for the last few years. So I felt they messed up. Okay, they should not have set it that hard. And I also felt that they would course correct in 2024 and they will make it very easy. Okay, and 2024 was much easier than usual. Then again, I thought in 2025 they might make it tougher, which was basically the case. But 2025, I have another issue where I felt the difficulty level across the 3 slots was varying, especially in LRDA. Okay, you can see the numbers also. LRDA of slot 2 in CAT 2025 was much easier. People might again complain. Okay, again it might be controversial, but the numbers speak, right? It is not anybody's subjective opinion. Many people scored very well in slot 2 LRDA. Okay, what I hope is, the first thing is I hope the difficulty level in the 3 slots is uniform. That is most important to me. Second, I would say I expect 2026 to be maybe slightly on the easier side.
Then 25.
Then 25.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, like very good prediction, sir. And last question. Nothing context, no context. Any advice to people who are going to attempt 26?
I would say take mocks, study regularly, be optimistic. That I think is sufficient. Don't and ignore Reddit. Okay. Because I just feel that, okay, people who are on Reddit are just like pained, okay, they waste time and they will demotivate you. So if you want to do well, you should be motivated. You should find ways to motivate yourself. You should not find ways to demotivate yourself. So avoid Reddit, work consistently and be optimistic.
That's it for today, guys. We hope that we will get back to you with another video. Thank you.